You're like, I still gotta pay the bills and keep the lights on, you know?
I still gotta pay bills.
Yeah.
And so it's very different when you're in front of all these cameras and you're going to these press conferences and stuff like that, and then all of the lights turn off and the curtains close and you're back at work.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sarah Ontiveros with Slated Cinema, and we are here today with Brittney Rodriguez to talk about their upcoming films and the last few things that they've worked on. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just jump right in.
Okay, all right.
So just tell us a little bit about you and your introduction to film.
Okay, all right. So my name is Brittney Rodriguez. I played the role of June in Red Rocket. I've also played the role of Dawn in Anora.
Yeah.
And I got my start back in 2020. So I'm blue collar. I work in a refinery. And due to COVID, I got laid off. I just so happened to be home one day, walking my Chihuahua around the block. And Sean Baker just so happened to be coming down the same block.
That's
and
crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm wearing a wife beater and muscle shirts with like troopers, so like Debo slides.
Yeah.
And I'm covered in tattoos, walking a little Chihuahua. And he stops me and he introduces himself. He's with Alex Coco, his producer, and
They were walking on the street?
no, they were driving around. They were actually
like scouting?
Yeah, locations.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he ended up stopping me. He's like, "Man, I really like your dog."
Like in your look.
Yeah. He's like, we're getting ready to do a film. This is who I am. I have a project already out on Netflix. Check it out. If you find yourself interested, email me back. And if you want to do the next film. And so I watched it. I loved it. Instantly emailed him back. And a few months later, we ended up meeting at a Rayo's Bakery. And so he's like, "Man, I'm pretty sure you got the part, but just read these couple lines. We just want to be sure." And I read like 2-3 words out the line. He's like, "Yes, you're it. You got it."
This is for Red Rocket?
For Red Rocket.
That's so great. So had you done any film before?
No. It's kind of polar opposite because I don't actually like being in front of cameras and stuff like that. I'm very private.
Yeah.
And so normally I'll go take pictures of my friend, and I'm always behind the camera. She'll call me, "Hey, Britt, I found this spot. Let's go take pictures." And so I tend to find myself behind the camera. But like growing up, I wanted to be a rock star. Like I like playing the guitar and stuff, but I never pictured myself being on film.
That's so crazy. I feel like we have similar upbringings. I was always on the other end of the camera doing photography. I also do music. I don't know if this is the same for you, but I had a very like nurturing like mom, dad when it came to the arts. Like they're very artistic people too. Yeah. So they pushed whatever artsy thing we wanted to do, and we showed an interest, or I showed an interest in music really young. So they were like, "Oh, let's get her a guitar, let's get her a piano." Yeah. So film wasn't anything that was on my radar to begin with either. So that's really exciting that they just happened upon you like on the road. Yeah. I mean, what keeps you, I guess, in the industry? Because that was something that was kind of like a one-off, I would say. But was there something there that was just so enticing, that kept you coming back?
Absolutely. Initially filming, it was very nerve-wracking to be on the set, and in my mind, I was on a huge set. Come to find out, it was
were
we had a 10-person crew, closed set, one location for me, anyways. And so it was a bit nerve-wracking. And then the main co-star was Simon Rex, which I'm a huge fan of. And so for me to do my part and what I had to do, I'm like, I don't want to talk to him like that. I don't want like what. And so it was a bit nerve-wracking, but he pulled me to the side between one of the takes, and not necessarily saying what he said. He was more like, I'm not soft. Just lay it on me, let me have it, because I know you got it, so just give it to me. And I'm like, all right, buddy, you asked for this. And so,
and you really get that. Like I just watched it recently. I had to do some homework, and it's so funny. First of all, so funny. And I, obviously was waiting for your parts to come up. I was like, I know it's coming, and they are. Like you don't seem like this is your first movie, which
awesome.
Which is crazy to think that it was just like this happenstance thing. Like he scouted you walking, and then to me that's a pretty big like film. I mean, I know you're saying it was a smaller set, but I was telling people about this interview. I'm like, well, she worked on Anora, she worked on Red Rocket. Like, this is 2 Sean Baker films, which is big. Like, that's bigger, huge. Yeah, than, a lot of us can say here in the industry. And that's really exciting. And I loved Red Rocket. I loved Anora.
Thank you.
Working with, directors and actors of that caliber, like, what was a takeaway for you?
Something that I took away was you kind of have to be aware of your surroundings and really know your role. And so something that I learned from the actors is that everybody has their own method. Everybody has their own way of doing things. And so if you see the way one person is doing things and you kind of like it, and then you see someone else doing something else and you like that too, you can take from each one of these people and you can put it together and make it your own. And so that's what I learned from the actors.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, was that something that was exciting or intimidating, or was it both? Like,
it was both.
Yeah.
It was both, actually. It was very intimidating, but once you actually get into the swing of things, because it was a hard time forgetting that the camera was there.
Yeah.
And so it was very intimidating, but once you were able to get past that, or once I was able to get past that, it actually became very pleasurable for me. And so it ended up not feeling like that I was filming a movie. It felt like that I was actually recording a therapy session. And so,
really?
Yeah, it was very exciting. And I love that I was able to bring some of myself to the film.
Yeah, that was another question that I had. Do you feel like you can be like your authentic self, in these roles, and even, outside of those roles? Or does it seem like there's a need to conform a little bit just because it's a bigger, like, Hollywood, like, environment as far as, the Sean Baker movies? Are you allowed, to feel like yourself?
I would say yes, but so yes, it is important for me to be able to be myself and bring some of myself to these films and my artwork, and to allow me it's important for me to show my creativity, but also just being who I am as a person. I think representation is very important, and there wasn't too often that I grew up seeing people like myself on film. So someone that I always seen, I was like, I could kind of relate to was someone like Brittney Rodriguez, but at the end of the day, and she's badass.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, I didn't really feel like that was me though. Like there was pieces of her, I'm like, oh yeah, she's awesome. Like that's the girl right there. But I couldn't 100% see myself within her. So being able to be myself is very important, because I would want people to see my work and see who I am and kind of feel like, man, if I was a character, I'd be her. Or, man, that's who I inspire to be.
Yeah, I love that, because there is someone for everyone that we can kind of look at and, feel like we align with. And it's not always going to be 100%, like you're saying. And I love Michelle Rodriguez. She's a shit. She was always that girl.
She was.
Like, since we were little, she was the first, I think, like, Latin presence that I saw in film that wasn't very feminine.
Yes.
She wasn't the, like, exotic beauty. Like, she was, like, a badass. Like, she was tough. And
she wasn't afraid to get a little dirty.
Yeah. I love that you made that comparison, because that's definitely something that I see, with you and the roles that you've done. And yes, like you were saying, like, everyone has someone that they want to feel, like, aligned with. And I love that. I love that you want to be yourself, and you have the capacity to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. And then the but part is you also, like, it goes back to being aware of your surroundings and knowing who you're with and knowing what's going on. So although I am able to be myself, sometimes you do have to code switch, and sometimes you do have to wear a different mask. You have to present yourself in a different way. Like, because I do have the tattoos and I do carry myself in a certain way, it is important sometimes to I'll say speak in a different manner and allow people to know that, I may act this way, I may kind of be this way, but don't forget that I am a very educated person. And
you're professional.
And I do know how to carry myself in certain manners. So I wouldn't necessarily say conform to a Hollywood standard. I think that if you like me, if you like what I got going on, then I may be a fit for you. But if not, I'm just not the fit for you, and that's okay. I like to say different strokes for different folks. And so, you know, if I don't work for you, I'll work for someone else. And so
someone like Sean Baker.
Yeah.
And Anora, an Oscar-winning film. So yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That movie was such a good time too. We all kind of did our homework with that film. And what was that experience like? That was a much bigger set. Am I right?
Yeah. Huge set. So the time frames that we had at work wasn't really too different for me because I'm normally up at those hours, go home at those hours. But it was more relaxed. Like I actually enjoyed being up at these hours. And so being on the set, I was actually at a strip club filming. So I spent my entire 2 weeks at a strip club. And so I'd wake up super early, get to set, eat breakfast, and then I would sit in like the fancy typical chairs, and I would get
just like in a strip club.
in a strip club. And so I would be getting hair and makeup done and stuff like that, and like I felt like almost, I felt like a princess almost. So I enjoyed it, and then just being able to be around all these different people, different personalities, when it comes to the cast and the crew. And then I got to work with Mikey Madison, which she's amazing. And so it was awesome. It was definitely an experience and a learning experience for me.
Yeah, that movie and that set seems like it was so much fun.
It was.
There was so much humor in it, but it's also like a very like, you know, like serious like topic, and then it ends on a very like sad note, and it's a lot of emotions, and I understand, you know, watching the Oscars. I'm a big Oscars watcher. Me and my mom, that's like our thing. We'll put on our pajamas and pop some champagne and watch the Oscars together. So I was like, you know, I had already seen Anora. I try to watch all the films that are nominated, and I was, you know, I had it in my head. I'm like, I think they can do it, because there's a lot to that movie that a lot of people don't really get. I think they see it like surface level. They're like, oh, it's about a stripper. Like, why is that, you know, Oscar worthy? I'm like, well, there's a lot that goes in to that film, first of all, and then there's just a lot of nuance with it. It was really funny. It was very like insightful, and obviously a lot of talent. And we were, you know, excited as Houstonians because Sean Baker, and then you, like, we knew you from Red Rocket, and we knew, you know, that was something that like he carried over with you and was like, I really liked her. I want to bring her into this one too. So I think as Houstonians, we were all excited for the film, for y'all. And you were saying you did your like blue collar work at the same time. Like how do you balance that? How do you balance, you know, being an actress and, you know, being on these films and then also being a blue collar worker?
Honestly, both sides can be very tough. But you just have to know when to put one hat on. And so at work, I don't talk about my movies at all. I don't talk about what I do outside of work. And so people who know me, you know, everyone knows everyone in the refinery. And so often I'll have people that come up to me, I'm like, yo, man, my buddy said you did this movie. Is it true? Like, yeah, I did a movie. And they're like, bro, why are you still here?
You're like, I still gotta pay the bills and keep the lights on, you know?
I still gotta pay bills. And so it's very different when you're in front of all these cameras and you're going to these press conferences and stuff like that, and then all of the lights turn off and the curtains close and you're back at work. But I can say that I absolutely enjoy what I do in the refinery, and for me, it makes no difference. I don't, you know, I don't really refer to myself as I'm an actress or I'm this or I'm that. I'm a blue collar worker, but I just so happen to have a really cool job outside of this place as well. And so I don't get myself caught up in the fact that I've done these things, because I feel like it's a setup for depression, or if it's a setup for like feeling low. And so to avoid that, I don't think of like, man, I'm an actress and I don't have work right now, or I'm not doing these films no more, or it's been so many years between these films. I think of it just like I'm blue collar, and when they call me, I'm gonna pick up and I'm showing up. And so that's how I kind of balance things.
It's such a refreshing way to look at that, because I feel like a lot of us, you know, in the arts, we are counting the space, you know, the time between the things that we work on, and we're like, man, I'm not doing anything at the moment, and it's hard, and it is a setup for, you know, a sad state of mind. And I think looking at it and flipping that perspective, like you're saying, is the way to go, because we are, you know, other things outside of our art, and sometimes that's just the way it has to be, especially in Houston. Like, our industry is not as big as, you know, Hollywood or, you know, the industry in New York, so we have to work blue collar jobs, or we have to do, you know, just other things. And I think we look at that as something negative when you know, for you it's a positive. You know, you take pride in being a blue collar worker, and I think that's wonderful, because that's a lot of what's here. And a lot of blue collar people that I know that work in the industries and the refineries, they are proud. And I think that it's such a refreshing way to look at that.
For sure.
So I kind of want to talk about, you know, what's next as far as, you know, what you want to do as far as directing, because I know that's something that's coming up with Pablo and Bryce. So tell me a little bit about that. What was the shift over, I guess, from acting to co-directing?
Okay. So I actually met Pablo on the set of Red Rocket. And we just so happened, because we were both just moving back and forth, especially him. And so we ended up catching each other, and we both just kind of looked at each other. And I know we had that same thought, like, I want to know your story. And so we ended up getting to talk a little bit, and I discovered that he does commercials. Like, that's his main source of income, is commercials. And he was telling me about Over the Causeway and how he wanted to produce it and things of that nature. And I'm just like, bro, look at the set that you're on. And you do commercials. So how much harder would it be for you to take another step forward and to produce in Over the Causeway? And he's kind of like, you know what? Like, you make a good point. And so I figured that one day he'd call me and he'd be like, bro, I made the project. Go watch it. Go check it out. But he ended up calling me and asking me if I wanted to play the lead. And so through shooting Over the Causeway, you know, he got to know a lot about me and a lot of my story and what made me who I am today. And so he ended up calling me one day. He's like, bro, you know, I really enjoy a lot of the stories that you told me. Would you want to do another project together? And absolutely, like, I enjoy working with you. Let's do something. So it has been extremely different going from being a performer to now being behind this camera as an actor. You know, I never really realized how much goes into making a project and having to get the team together and all these different things that you have to do to even make it possible. And so I'm taking this as a learning experience. You know, I've got to watch Sean Baker in action. I've got to watch Pablo in action and stuff like that. And so through seeing how they operate, you know, I'm bringing some of that to the table. But, you know, I like to think of myself as a student and a teacher every day. I can learn something new every day, but I can also teach you something too. And so this is my kind of school of hard knock, I guess you could say. And so this is going to be a learning process for me, and I am soaking in everything I could possibly soak in. I have Pablo as a co-director. I have Rachel Acosta as a producer, and I also have
we love Rachel. Love Rachel. They're
she's
the best.
amazing. Like, I learned so much from Rachel. Like, if Rachel says this is what we're doing, that's what we're gonna do. So
y'all are set up for sure. And then Bryce as a cinematographer, DP. That's so exciting. I'm so excited to hear more.
I love Bryce.
Dying to work with him. So excited to see where that goes. Without, you know, giving too much away, what's a little bit of the synopsis for the film? It's a short, correct?
Yes, it's a short. So it's about a drifter who is just in between towns, and she's had her ends, and she's just ready to go. And so on the verge of leaving, you know, she stumbles upon a beauty pageant, and, you know, she is met with rejection, but she ends up reeling it back in with a runner-up in the pageant. And, you know, they're both kind of on the same page with just wanting to find a home, and they're possibly able to find this home within each other. And so we're kind of like stewing in the pot of their relationship with each other and seeing where that is able to take the characters.
Exciting, and it's called $3 Bet. $3 Bet. Yeah, that's so exciting. I guess something that you're excited to film, like in.
I'm really excited to film the scenes with the main character. So my thing is, I want to be able to dance with the watcher's emotions, and I think we're doing a real great job at at showing these things and stuff like that. And so I'm excited to see how this actually turns out. So, and then just getting to learn behind the camera and stuff like that. So,
that's the fun part. You know, you've been on one side already, so now you're getting to like flip the script and be on the other side. It's so exciting. I feel like that's going to be, like you were saying, like where you learn like the most, and I'm excited for you.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm actually being able to have my own creative freedom.
Yeah.
And in a way, like I'm saying, I can call the shots, but I still have to check back in with the team and make sure that everyone is on board, because this is a team effort.
Yeah.
But to an extent, I still get to, instead of applying for roles and hoping that they'll pick me, or not really wanting to get put in a box because my appearance, you know, I can write the roles that I want to play now. And so that's another exciting part
absolutely.
of it.
Absolutely. So, and being on the other side too, like you were saying, you have, you know, control obviously of like how everything is going to go, but it's also like you get a lot of creative freedom. Like you are flexing muscles that you haven't been able to flex before. So that's always the exciting part for me, is like jumping into a new role. And we often do, you know, here in Texas, like we wear a lot of hats. I feel like we all kind of like, you know, like jump into other roles and, you know, see what we can learn there. And we really find, I think, you know, where we strive and like what really calls to us. Because I've done things, you know, for photo work, I've done things behind the camera, I've done things in front of the camera, and there's definitely things that I find don't really fit me.
Yeah.
And it's like directing is, you know, that, and this could just be a me thing, but it's I like to have that creative control. I like to be able to have a hand in all the departments and, you know, make sure that everything is fine-tuned, and then obviously having a team to do that. Like that's the best part, because obviously we don't make these things alone, and I think a lot of ideas on their own are great, but I think they get even better when you work with the right people. And you have an incredible like lineup of people that you're working with. So like that is going to be, you know, an exciting thing to watch unfold. And I guess, you know, the last question I have was, you know, what's something that surprised you about yourself coming into this industry, kind of, you know, at random? What's something that sticks out to you that you've done that you're particularly proud of?
I would say my ability to be able to, whether it's code switching or playing these different roles, or, you know, sometimes I have to immerse myself within what I'm doing, but then sometimes I have to know, okay, you have to step back and you have to let other people take the reins, or, you know, it's okay to let other people call the shots, or, you know, I've got really good at taking constructive criticism and following direction, because I'm not a classically trained actress. And a lot of what I do is mostly based on instinct and on nature. And so being able to take direction and the fact that I'm good at it, like I never expected myself to be as good as what I am. You know, I didn't expect myself to be able to go from being an actress to writing something and being a director, just the whole process in itself. And then I can still balance my home life with this work life. And so, you know, I wouldn't say it's a surprise to me, but I love the fact that I have been able to do the things that I've done. And it didn't get to my head in it, because that's not really who I am. And so the fact that through everything that I've done, I've been able to remain myself and bring myself to the table. I love that the most. And I have this mentality to where when you get to a position to where you can reach your hand back and pull someone else up, that is one of my favorite things to do. And so, yeah, like...
That's what all of this is about, really. Like I was saying, like we don't do this by ourselves. So it is a matter of, you know, like uplifting who we can uplift. And, you know, if we get to this height, you know, we want everyone else to get up to that height. So
for sure.
That's incredible. I'm so excited for everything that you're doing. Like, please let us know where to find you and the film. Like, just like plug us in. So
so right now you can mainly find me on Facebook, Brittney Rodriguez. You can find me on Instagram at 1000blockbrit. And then for every project that I'm going to be releasing, I'm going to create independent Instagram pages for them, so you can follow them specifically.
Awesome.
I think so. We've never like publicly released Over the Causeway, and leading into this project, I think we are gonna release it. We're not exactly sure where we plan on releasing it yet, but I guess that's gonna be our introduction to show people our work between each other and the way we just mesh so well.
Yeah.
So you can know what to expect with $3 And so my goals are, you know, everything that I've achieved as an actor, I would love to achieve that tenfold as a director. And
Absolutely.
so those are my goals, and I'll keep you posted on all my social medias and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
it's a $3 bet. We'll look out for it for sure.
$3 bet.
Thank you so much for coming and sitting and talking to us about it, and we're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's actually an honor. Like, I congratulations to you. By the way,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, goals.
Yeah.
Goals, actually.